society has kind of raised men to kind of put them in these boxes of providers and protectors, which some of them don't want to be that. But because that is what is expected of them, some of them would just say yes just to go along, to get along, but not do the actions of a provider and a protector. Which is why your husband needs to know. I know you want a provider and protector, but he needs to know, does he want to become that provider? Does he want to become that protector? It has to come from the inside. This is a very tricky situation because this is just the beginning. You two just got married, and he's now and for you, having a provider and having a protector is like, it might be an emotional need for you. It might be something you need in a relationship for it to be successful. And if he's just going to be complacent, unfortunately, your relationship is not going to work out.
Hello and welcome to Kitchen Table Advice. My name is Paola and I am the host of this podcast. This podcast is a safe place where you can ask for any advice you want. It can be relationship advice, both platonic or romantic, career advice, or life advice. I wanted to create a safe place where you can ask for your advice without fear. My purpose here is to serve as a guide and give you a different perspective for you to eventually both find your purpose in life as well as your voice. As a reminder, every name will be anonymous and your identity will always be kept a secret. This is not professional advice and I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist. Just think of this as advice you would get from a close friend on a kitchen table. So, let's begin.
Hello, my wonderful gems. How are you? I hope you're doing amazing. If you're a returning gem, welcome back. If you're new here, hello, how are you? Make sure you set out the vibe, and if you like what you're listening to, then please feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. Alright, so as usual, we'll just jump into the first story of the episode. The title of the first story is, How Do I and My Husband Place Boundaries with Difficult In-Laws? This is always fun, but let's jump in. I don't even know if I'm capable of giving an advice here, but let's jump in. I'm about to go on a 2-week-long Christmas vacation with my husband, his parents, and his brother. However, I'm feeling extremely anxious as his father, who is 60, is constantly saying horrible things about people and has now been feeling comfortable enough to call me names. He loves to call people slurs and calling women demeaning names and stares at women as they walk by. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. My mother-in-law is really kind, but is completely complacent and okay with her husband's behavior. I mean, she married a misogynist. I'm pretty sure she knows. I went to visit my in-laws this weekend by myself, and my father-in-law again proceeded to quote-unquote joke. This is an abuser. My gosh. Okay. He proceeded to quote-unquote joke about if I was diagnosed with a quote-unquote crazy and I looked quote-unquote effed up because I hadn't slept well. I just laughed it off and changed the conversation. It's not the first time he said something rude. He's called me a pussy for not wanting to eat too much food at dinner in front of my husband and blamed me for getting sick after he was reckless driving. Who was reckless driving? Your husband or your father-in-law? Because apparently my stomach was too weak. I have no clue. I've made these comments to my partner and he didn't react much to it, as his dad is constantly saying and doing things that are out of line. I was really upset about his lack of reaction and the fact that this is not the first time I've felt he hasn't stood up for me to his dad. We had a strong discussion about my needs, which are for him to protect me, so I wouldn't have to defend myself and look like the bad guy. He agreed and apologized. We are now on the same page, but he would still like to go on the trip. I'm not sure his dad does not respect me fully because no one knows we got married in secret a couple of months ago, and our ceremony will be held next year. To him, I'm just a fiance right now. But I have a feeling he just does not respect any woman at all. That's exactly what I was going to tell. That is exactly what I was going to tell you. I was raised to be kind to everyone, especially in-laws, no matter what. But this is literally causing me to be physically ill when I think about spending time with them for 2 weeks. Do you have any advice regarding this matter? Okay. So I'm just gonna preface, I am not married. I've never been married and I never had kids, okay? But I'm just going to give you my advice. Still, based on the fact that I have not gone through the milestones that you have, or have not gone towards the trajectory that you're having, I think this is just an abusive man. This is literally, if you've ever read the book Why He Does That, I'm going to insert the book right here. That is literally how abuse starts. It starts with the quote unquote jokes. Oh, I'm just joking. Oh, why are you so sensitive? Oh, you lighten up. It's just a joke. No, it's not a joke. If someone tells you a quote unquote joke and you feel uncomfortable, you have every right to feel uncomfortable. All right. And I'm going to get a little bit philosophical here. No one gives a damn about your intention if you're telling someone a joke and they don't receive it well. A tree is not characterized by its roots. A tree is characterized by the type of fruits they grow, by how everybody is impacted towards your action. If your intention is to lighten the mood by putting someone else down and they are not reciprocating, you are a bad person. I don't give a damn. I do not care. All right. Because I know a lot of people are going to try to twist it and turn and really try to make you see. Because this can happen to both women and men. It does mostly happen to women though. But I do understand there are some men who do encounter this. But if someone is telling you a quote unquote joke and you don't find it funny, feel free to stand up to them. I don't find it funny. I don't think it's a joke. Even if they try to gaslight you by telling you, oh, just relax. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right there, that is the first sign of infraction. That is when you set up your boundaries. That's when you tell them, you do not make this joke in front of me. And if you're going to keep doing this, then I'm going to be out of your life. But that's just how I would take stuff. But yeah. Your father-in-law seems like a misogynist. He seems abusive, and I know it's devastating to you, but this is the man who raised your husband, okay? I'm sure from what it seems like, from what you've wrote it doesn't seem like your husband is here, but your husband has gone through this behavior his entire life. From the day he came out into the world, he was exposed to a dad who was a little jerk, did not respect women, or maybe even some men, or just flat out abusive. He is numb. So, yes, it may suck that your husband is not standing up for you. It may suck that he's not protecting you emotionally and spiritually. But this man is numb. He is numb to the abuse. He is numb to whatever is going on. So for him, I would not be surprised if it's not even registering that, oh my gosh, this is bad. And for you, you were raised in a completely different environment. You were raised with people who do not talk to each other like this. You were raised that this is not what love is, which is why to you, it's like, oh my gosh, how can he talk to people like that? Oh my gosh, how can he just make these kind of jokes? I'm not surprised that everyone in there, even if your brother has sisters or brothers, please feel free to let me know. I would really like to know how they are reacting to their father just being a flat out misogynist and insulting people and thinking it's a joke when it's not. I'm not surprised that your husband is numb. So that is, I can actually understand where your husband is coming from. Especially, this happens a lot to children who has grown up in abusive households. They either become numb or they start perpetuating that type of abuse. I'm not saying your husband is an abuser or he's going to do that. But the fact, his reaction right here shows me that he's numb to the abuse. For him, it's just, oh, that's dad. He's a jerk. So I think that's where he's coming from. And for you as the wife, I can definitely understand how you are thinking you and your partner are a team. It is you two versus any other people or any problems that tend to occur, which completely understand. But I would actually advise you to not go to the dinner party, because I know you talked to your husband and he agreed and he apologizes, because I'm pretty sure he feels like his dad is a jerk and he is out of line. But because he's so used to it and he's so numb, he might not be quick to react if it does happen at the dinner party, which you are going to be let down. I think this is something that you kind of have to unpack in a safe space, which is therapy. Your husband, or maybe not couples therapy, but like, I think your husband really needs to look at his childhood. Well, first of all, I think your husband needs to look at what type of man he wants to be. Does he want, I know you say you want a provider and you want a protector. Is that what he wants? Sometimes people just say yeah because they think that's the appropriate thing to do or it's what society expects of them. But you don't ever want someone who just goes along to get along. You don't ever just like you don't ever want someone who just says sorry to squash the situation, but then the same problem occurs again. No. You want someone who wants to actively change, actively wants to be a provider, actively wants to be a protector. Unfortunately, well, it depends. Society has kind of raised men to kind of put them in these boxes of providers and protectors, which some of them don't want to be that. But because that is what is expected of them, some of them would just say yes just to go along to get along, but not do the actions of a provider and a protector. Which is why your husband needs to know, I know you want a provider and protector, but he needs to know, does he want to become that provider? Does he want to become that protector? It has to come from the inside. So this is why I would just suggest therapy for your husband. I don't even think this advice is really not about, I'm not going to give you an advice based on your in-laws, because it just seems like your father-in-law is a jerk, your father-in-law is a misogynist, and I would not be surprised if he's abusive. All right. And he has terrified everyone in the household to the point where his wife is just complacent. She's like, well, that's my husband. He's a jerk. The kids are like, well, that's dad. He's a jerk. What do you want me to do about it? He's always been like this. And then you are coming in from a different perspective, from a different household, from a household who was told to be kind and loving. Or maybe if you have conflict with someone, try to, approach the situation, still voice your feelings, but still try to be conscious of the other party's feelings. Or I don't know. Maybe you were taught to please. Okay. I'm not really sure what your household is, but it's obviously different from your husband's household. And it's just, this is very unfortunate. I would not tell you to, don't go to the dinner party and try to make your husband try to nudge your husband toward therapy, because it's this is very difficult, because this is a very tricky situation, because this is just the beginning. You two just got married, and he's now and for you, having a provider and having a protector is like, it might be an emotional need for you. It might be something you need in a relationship for it to be successful. And if he's just going to be complacent, unfortunately your relationship is not going to work out. So first he needs to realize if he wants to be that protector and provider. And once he has come to that realization, he's just going to take the steps. He himself will start maybe learning more about these stuff, or going to therapy and try to unpack his childhood. What emotions has he suppressed? What ideas even has he suppressed from the fact that he has lived in a household with an abusive man? How has he made himself shrink down or just be numb to life around him? But yeah, just, I don't know. This is a very tricky situation. And this is also why a lot of people get seasonal depression during the holidays, because these family members are, if you have good supportive family members out there, you're blessed. Okay, I know sometimes our good supportive family members can annoy us at times, but if you really have good supportive family members out there, you are truly blessed. Please be happy with what you have, because a lot of families are just, there's a saying out there that says your first bully tends to be your parents. A lot of parents out here are just straight up bullies, and they're not worthy to have a kid. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, I don't think every parent should have a child, but yeah, I think this is actually a situation that goes beyond just the father-in-law being a raging a-hole or raging misogynist. This is a much deeper thing. And hopefully you can have this conversation with your husband. Hopefully he can start to understand. I really hope he's not just, because there are a lot of people who would just say yeah because they don't want to talk about it, it's uncomfortable. But this is really something that he needs to explore as the type of man he wants to be for his wife, for himself, and for you, right? So yeah, this is sad. I'm sorry. Woo. Anyways, I hope that advice was able to help you, even though I am not married and I am not in that type of a union. I hope this advice was able to help you. All right, so we're going to take a break right now and come back with the second story of the episode. Alright, so we are back with the second story, and the title is How to Communicate My Feelings to My Partner. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Okay, let's just jump in. Okay, so my partner is 27 and I am 26, and we are spending time apart with our family for the holidays. I've met his, but he hasn't met mine. I really love my partner and I think we're really compatible. But all the questions my parents ask me about him are making me question the relationship, kind of. My mom asked me if we got each other Christmas presents. I told her I got him one, but he didn't get me anything. She asked if we go out to eat in the city very much, and I said no. I usually cook for us. And my dad is asking about his job and everything, and I'm sure they're wondering about the future and all. It's been 8 months, and we haven't talked about marriage or even moving in or having kids. Wait, you're not living together and you're cooking? Oh, let me just. To be honest, I'm a really insecure person, and it feels surprising to me that someone would want to date me. So I wouldn't bring up marriage, but maybe at this point in a relationship, it should have been discussed. Overall, I feel like I'm giving more than I'm receiving here. He's never okay. He's never fully satisfied me when we get intimate. He finishes really quickly and he really likes other stuff. I'm just gonna say other stuff. I don't know how to say this. Oh gosh. I also wish he would give me more compliments. I write him cards and stuff, and I know he really loves them. So I just wish he could reciprocate. This guy isn't an a-hole, and he doesn't have a lot of experience in relationships, and I don't think he's trying to hurt me. I don't want to be someone who's keeping track of all of these things, but also want to be mindful if I'm being taken advantage of. Is there any way to communicate this with me? Okay. I'm just giving short answer. He doesn't really like you like that. It's like listen. I feel like as women, we make a lot of mental gymnastics as to why some of the people we have in our lives, especially men, are not performing to their capabilities because
oh, his ex hurt him. That's why he's not doing this. Oh, he doesn't have enough experience in relationship. Maybe he doesn't know.
Stop. Come on. Are you kidding? I really don't like sharing my family, but a family member of mine, she's still in high school and she's very cute, okay? Guy who was interested in her, he didn't know, he gave her stuff, okay? If children know that they're supposed to, I don't know, show affection somewhere with either compliments or presents, so do adults. Let's stop this. Can we please stop? If my family member in high school is getting gifts and compliment from little boys who are interested in her, which I don't think she should be dating, but that's just my advice. I'm not the parent, okay? If she's getting compliments and gifts from little boys who are interested in her, are you kidding? A grown man's not gonna know to compliment you and give you something for Christmas? Really? Wow. Like, are you kidding? People get Christmas gift from their co-workers, and you are not even getting a Christmas gift from your romantic partner. Let's stop this. Let's stop trying to justify why these people are not performing the way they do. Simple answer, he's not interested in you like that. And that is where my advice stands, and I'm pretty sure that's the case. I don't know why he's doing it. I don't know if you're just a placeholder girlfriend until he finds his actual girlfriend. I don't know. I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is if someone is interested in you, if someone actively wants to tell you they cherish you and they value you in their life, they're gonna show. They're either gonna tell you, or they're gonna give you gifts, or ask you what you like, or do stuff that you like. So they're gonna show. If you're ever confused as to why this 9 times out of 10, they're just not that interested in you. Let's stop with the mental gymnastics. He's not that interested. However, you've only been dating for 8 months and you're 26, he's 27. I'm not surprised why he hasn't brought up the marriage thing. I don't know how many people in the I mean, this is kind of mid-20s, but I guess I can say late. It's like, I mean, yeah, okay. Late 20s is usually when people do start thinking about marriage, but I do still think at 27, I don't know. It's kind of young, but I don't know. But then again, there are some 24-year-old who know they want to be married. So I'm not really sure, but the whole marriage thing, I wouldn't hold that too much because just in our society, it's like most people get married around the late 20s to 30s anyway. So that one, but he's not giving you a Christmas gift. What? That's weird. He's not taking you out to town and you're cooking for him. First, when I read that, I thought you were together or you were living together, but you're not living together and you're cooking for him. Why are you cooking for him when you're not living together? I don't understand. Why? I don't know. It just sounds like you're overcompensating, which I would agree. I mean, you already said you kind of feel insecure and you're surprised someone would even date you. So it's just coming off as you are kind of overcompensating. And people can tell when someone is overly compensating to stay in a relationship with them. It's very obvious. You, the giver, may not be able to tell that the person you're giving to can tell, but they can tell. They can tell when someone is overcompensating. Why are you usually cooking for him and he's never taking you out? And you haven't voiced that. That's kind of, and you're not living together. So do you cook in your house, you bring it to his house and you eat? Or do you go to his house and you cook there and you eat? It's just, I don't know. Is he screaming, please love me, please love me? And he's like, I guess. I don't know. Please stop doing that. I mean, okay, I don't want to ever tell you how you should be in your relationship, but it does kind of read as I'm compensating for what I'm lacking. You're not living together, but you're usually cooking for your partner. And he's never taking you out. Well, maybe not never, but he just occasionally takes you out, like maybe, let's be generous, once a week. I mean, once a week is actually pretty normal. And maybe like once a month. No, stop that. Stop that, please. And what else? And your father asks about his job and his career. I don't know. What was the answer? Does he have a job? Please tell me he has a job. Because it's like, please, let this man not be a bum. But honestly, I wouldn't worry about the marriage thing. I think it's perfectly normal for someone in their late 20s to not just want to talk about marriage with someone they've dated for 8 months. I mean, most people do know when they want to get married or if this is their life partner, and they will start talking about it. So the fact that he hasn't, and the fact that you're kind of overcompensating because of your own lack of self-worth, and the fact that he doesn't even have the decency to buy you a Christmas gift. Like, I just got a Christmas gift from my coworker. Are you kidding? That's weird. Anyways, my advice is he's just not that into you. And I would advise you to end the relationship and maybe try to go to therapy. And this is not shade, because I know a lot of people are using therapy now as a way to diminish you. But you really, why do you like so much self-confidence? Why do you have such low self-esteem? It's just, I don't know. That whole you keep cooking for him thing and you're not living together, really just like, it's like, why do you feel the need to overcompensate in a relationship? Why do you feel like, why is it surprising to you that someone even wants to date you? All those questions I feel like can be unpacked in a safe space with someone who is a professional. But yeah, I'm so sorry, but I mean, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But that is, honestly, that's the only advice I can give you here. Just, this man's not that into you, and he's using you for your resources. And a lot of men do this. It's unfortunate, but a lot of them do this. But yeah. Okay, that is it for this episode. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Please don't forget to give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe. And also, we get our stories on our Gmail account, which is kitchentableadvice@gmail.com. That is where we get some of our stories as well as business inquiries. So thank you so much for spending your day with us, and we see you next week. Bye.